welcome back. Dysfunctionally Functional Life with Pam Collins. This is just another quick follow-up to my video for new creators here on YouTube. The segment where I'm talking about adding music tracks to your projects and all the different problems you can run into with that, talking about video editing programs. And in my last video, I explained to you guys, if you are strictly working on Android, how to get around the problem of not being able to access the free, copyright-free music tracks on the YouTube audio library. How to get around that problem and go to the desktop site on your Android, okay? And I mentioned the Jamba Project, who will give you fantastic informative information, tutorials on exactly how to do that. So, I want to follow up by saying, here is a big problem I ran into. In my last video, I told you guys a little bit about how I have the InShot video editing app. There are music tracks provided in that app, and I'm not knowing, I'm a new creator. I'm thinking there's no problem with those tracks. I won't ever run into a problem in the future, but after reading the fine print, after doing some research, come to find out they license those tracks, and we as creators only have certain permissions with those music tracks that they provide in the video editing apps. In the fine print, it says this may not be used for commercial, radio, TV, certain stuff like that. So that's going to indicate if you use that in a project, a video, some content, later on if you get monetized, you're going to have a problem. Somebody's going to come at you, a strike, a claim, copyright, royalties. They're going to take your money. Something's going to happen, okay? So here's the deal. I screwed up. But like I say, I'm having to learn as I go. And as I do learn, I will be repeating the knowledge here on my channel. I dove in and I'm thinking, yippee, music, no problem, no trouble, free music. It's here, it's in the app, it must be okay to use for YouTube projects. Why the hell would it be here? That's not necessarily true. They license that music, they're paying for the license on it to provide it to us in their app, but only for certain purposes. That only goes so far. So know what you're doing. So what I did was, yes, I put out several different videos. I used the music in the InShot editor, and then come to find out all this stuff. So then I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck. I've just created several videos that I don't want to delete. These are my first videos on my new channel. I put quite a bit of work into those. I don't want to delete them, but each one of them had 30 to 45 seconds in every intro and every outro of music track from the InShot video editing app. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to get rid of this. I don't want to have to delete my entire video. And unfortunately, I had mixed my music track in the editor with their music to where you could still perfectly hear my speaking voice, and I said things of importance in the intros. However, that music was mixed just right where it wasn't coming up over my voice, but it's there, it's all together. So here's the problem you're going to run into. If you have done the same thing as me, you've created a project or some content and you have used music that you are unsure about from a video editing app or whatever, some website, whatever. If you have music in your project that you're very unsure about, and as I told you before, the only safe music that's really safe, that we know without a doubt that's copyright free and there will never be an issue about it, is the music that's provided in the YouTube Studio audio library. That's it, okay? That's the only safe music. So if you've created some content and you've got music tracks in there that you're unsure about, in the future that might come back on you, give you some problem with copyright claim, strike, something like that. If you're like me, you're probably going to go, oh my God, I don't want to delete all my content that I've done this with. What can I do? Can I go back somehow and take that audio out? You know, I've already deleted the original versions of those videos. Once I got them edited and put up on YouTube, that's gone. I don't have anything else to work with. In the future, I'll be more careful about that. Right now, that's it. What's on YouTube, the final product with the music, my voice, all that is done. That's all I have to work with. So I thought, well, what can I do? Can I go back in the editor in YouTube somehow? Is there a button you can push to strip the audio out? No, because it was done in InShot Editor app. It was done in another app. Can't do that. And can't download my video and then pull it back up through the app. That's way too much time and trouble. So if you're wondering, what can you do with your content that you already have put music on that you're very unsure about, what I found that I could do was not my favorite thing to do, but just for the first few videos that I put out, and now I've learned my lesson, I won't let this happen again. Just to fix those videos, to cover my ass, to try to get rid of that music that I was unsure about, I went back on all of those videos, and what you can do, go to the YouTube Studio desktop site on your Android, or go to a desktop. Access the YouTube audio library. Pull up the video that you want to replace the music track. You cannot take the music out that you've already put in there. But what you can do is select a copyright-free track from the YouTube audio library, and you can put that in over the top of the old music track so that it covers it up all the way so that you will not get into trouble in the future with any type of copyright claims. That is what you can do, and that is what I did. However, even on a desktop, even when I got away from Android desktop site, and I went and got on a big desktop, and I was able to see and do everything and have more control, here's what you're going to run into. When you take a new track and you put it over that old music track, you're going to have an option to turn that mix on that new track up to 100%. When you do that, yes, it is going to take care of your problem. You will not hear a drop of that old track as long as you get the same song length. You know, you may have to get two songs. You may have to cut some corners here. It was actually kind of difficult for me to do, to cover up the whole entire old track. But that is your option. If you've got content where there's music on there that you're not sure if it's copyright safe, that you might get into trouble in the future, you can go to the YouTube Desktop Studio site and select a track from the audio library, the free copyright music on YouTube, replace it, cover up that old music track. Now, if you're like me, on some of your videos, you were speaking in the intro, and you have some relevant or important information, right? Now that you've got to go and put this whole new music track over, you've got to get it turned up loud enough to cover up the old music track entirely, right? But in getting it loud enough to do that, you're going to completely cover up the intro of your voice. Until that track runs out, then your voice can be heard again. So these are the problems you can run into, guys, as new creators, adding music, trial and error, experience, and, you know, I'm trying to turn around and share with you guys some of the things that I've run into and some of the things that you can do. So that happened to me, and that was the problem I ran into. Now, I have learned my lesson, and I won't let this happen again. From here on, I'm not going to have to go back and correct any tracks and add another music track over the top of an old track and try to get it just right to where that old track is covered up all the way. I got to get it loud enough, but my voice still needs to be heard as well in that intro because I'm telling people things. It was very nerve-wracking. It really bothered me, and so that's why probably on 6 or 8 of my videos, you're going to be able to hear there's 2 different songs weaved together because that's the new track trying to cover up that old track, the new copyright-free safe track, but also preserve my voice so that people can hear what I'm saying in the beginning. It was a big mess up on my part. I'm not proud of those videos, but I didn't want to delete those first videos and that content entirely, okay? So that's why they sound like that. But that is what you can do. And it's going to give you an option. Now, you can either turn it up all the way and you have no worries. You will never hear that old track again. It's covered. But it's going to completely take out your voice and everything you were saying in the video, in the beginning of that video. What I did, I turned that mix up, and you don't have a lot of control in the YouTube Studio Editor, music editor. You just don't. That's why I would suggest download your music track from the free audio library, pull it up in another editing app. Do it there. Much more control. Anyway, it's going to give you a choice to turn that mix up on the new track in the audio library. I turned mine about halfway up. That way, the new track almost all the way drown out the old music. Or it made it to where, in the future, nobody's going to claim that because they can't really even tell what the hell it is because there's something over the top of it. I just about was able to cover it up entirely and still be able to hear my voice. That's what I had to do. That's why it was so hard. I will never make that mistake again, ever. Because it makes those videos sound shitty in the beginning. You can tell there's two different tracks of music doing weird shit. But hey, thank God it was only for the first 30, 40 seconds of each video and a little bit at the end. It was a lot of work for me to go back and cover up. Don't make that mistake, okay? So, but that is what you can do if you have content and you've made that mistake. You got music on there. You cannot get rid of that music unless you have a way to pull that video down through another app, another editor, strip that music out. It's almost impossible. On YouTube Music Editor, you cannot strip out that old track. You can't. But what you can do is take a new track from the audio library and cover up that old track and hope you can get the sound right. Either you're going to have to cut out your voice all the way on the intro or try to fine tune it where that music track is covered up with the new track, but they can still hear your voice. So that's what I ran into, guys. Hopefully somebody will learn a lesson from where I messed up. From now on, when I film content, first of all, I know better now. I will not be diving in there using any music that I don't know for sure is safe. I will not be using the music provided to me in the InShot video editing app because I don't know that in the future it's completely safe. Read the fine print, do your research. What I will be doing in the future is when I film my content, I will be going to the YouTube audio library on desktop on my Android. I'll go to the desktop site. I will download a copyright-free track to my phone. Then I will go over to my InShot video editor, pull up my project, and pull up that downloaded track that I know is free and safe, copyright-free. And then I can work with it and have so much more control over that music track in that editing program, mix it all up there, and then post it to YouTube, okay? That's what I suggest. So I've definitely learned my lesson. I'm not going to have any more projects where I have to go back and cover up an old track that I couldn't strip out and that I really didn't want to use anymore, that I didn't know if it was safe for me to use, but I needed to get rid of it. Okay. So I will not make that mistake again, but I've told you what you can do if you do make that mistake. And yes, I've told you what you can do to avoid making that mistake. So that's what I'm going to do here on in the future. And when I learn new things about it, I will be back to tell you guys more. So I hope you guys got something out of this and have a blessed day. See you guys soon.